Good morning. Hey, this is Tom Cox. I work for IDOT District 6 as a consultant, retired from there in 2020, so I'm working as a consultant for them now. So I guess back in 2023, just a couple of years ago, when I came back to work at the district, I was involved with a couple other people in putting together a set of construction plans. The project was a 3P project, a resurfacing project that also included some spot locations for widening and gutter and a little bit of earthwork and a couple other various type items. So anyway, yeah, this video is just like the introduction to stepping through that project in the CAD software OpenRoads Designer. And but before we even get into that, I wanted to first have an intro video that just talks a little bit about what the basically the final product is, and then look at some pictures, different things like that. So let's go. Okay, first, let's take a look at where the project is. So the project is just north of Jacksonville. It's this contract here, 72K 96. If you want to look at the plans yourself, you can just go to Google and type in ePlans space 72K 96, and you should be able to download that set of construction plans. It's just a little bit more information about that project. Let's see. Yeah, it was funded for fiscal year 2024. These are some of the people involved with the job. Basically just like some status type information, about that project. But you'll see that here down at the bottom, it shows that this project is being developed as a 3P project, or it's being developed under the 3P policy. Anyway, again, with some spot improvements. Okay, now let's jump over to Google Maps real quick. Again, we are just north of Jacksonville. And let's just take a look at the project. The project actually started up here on the north side. We can maybe drop in with Street View, just take a quick look at this project. Okay, so actually it looks like with Google Maps, when we look at the aerial view, we could see the completed project that was done in 2024. But then we drop into Street View at that same location. And so, yeah, this works out well. You can see kind of the before picture here. What we're going to be doing here through this section anyway is we're going to be widening the pavement through here. We are going to add type A gutter, and then we're going to lay the back slope back. And let's see. Actually, let me see if I got a picture of that I could show you. So, okay, so this is the before. Okay, so yeah, there's a picture of that was just taken a few days ago here in 2025. So that was kind of the final product anyway, just at this one particular location. You can see we added some underdrain. There's the underdrain outlet right there. Here's the final product. You can see where we laid that back slope, but still stayed within right-of-way, so we didn't have to buy any right-of-way through there. This project actually involved a lot of spot sections that we included some widening and the gutter throughout the project. Now, once we get into this within CAD, we're not going to look at the entire project. That'd take forever, but we're just going to look at a section of the project, because really this project was just very similar in that it had a lot of similar sections. Basically, it went from a resurfacing only project where we only replace the entrance culverts to I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 of these spot locations like this, basically in cut sections where we added the widening and the gutter, and then we laid back the back slope. And then there's some other work also. So there's a type A outlet. You can see there's going to be several of those throughout the project. We added some riprap at the end of that type A gutter. Throughout the entire project, there were these concrete head walls on these entrances, which were a safety hazard. So we called for all of the pipe culverts to be replaced. This is at the first side road we came to. Let's see if I can show you a before picture. All we did here was just widen out the radii here and overlaid the project. Let's see if I can jump back to Google Maps real quick to show you that. I'm going to try to keep this video short. Definitely make sure we don't go over, like, say, 15 minutes. Let's see. Is it this intersection? Yeah, here it is, right here. Okay, so you can see the final product where we actually remove, I think instead of widening, yeah, I believe we actually just removed the pavement here at this intersection and replaced it just with a wider radius so that, you know, the trucks wouldn't have that off tracking. And you'll probably see that here as I drop in with this street view guy. And yeah, there you go. You can take a look at the before, and you can see that there's a lot of, you know, off tracking with the larger trucks through this area. So we basically just removed that pavement, put it back at a, you know, wider radius. Okay, let's keep moving along. See what else we have going on here. If I zoom out a bit, you can see that there's multiple, you know, creeks that run through this project, and basically that's where those spot improvements were. So in the areas where there's the fields, you know, again, it was just a basic 3P type project with resurfacing. We replaced the entrance culverts, and then you have these cut sections wherever the creeks are. So I'll again drop in there with street view, and you can see the typical locations here. Now, there was a previous project where the bridges were replaced, so we didn't do any work with the bridges at all on this project. Here we go. Yeah, here's a good example. So this is the before we widened. Actually, if you looked real close here, you can see that there was an existing gutter. So the pavement looks to be fairly wide through here, but really the pavement's very narrow, and then it just overlays the existing gutter. You can also see this joint here where the existing widening was in bad shape. And so we actually removed that widening back to where you can see that crack running down the middle, widened the pavement, added the type A gutter. And then again, this was like from a previous job, I believe from that bridge job. So like in this case here, we did something similar to what you see, to where we're just going to tie into that existing gutter outlet. And really that's, like I said, it's just kind of the same thing throughout. Now let's take a quick look at the plans here. So this is the complete set of plans. It's a couple hundred sheets. Cover sheet, location map, typical. We got general notes here. And I'm just going to kind of zoom through this quickly so you can just see the final set of construction plans for that project. Of course, the summary of quantities, all the pay items that were needed for the project, our schedules, and then we get into our typical sections. In this particular case, we actually separated the existing typical sections from the proposed, where it's probably more common to see the two combined. But in this case, we had some good old plan data that, we were able to use some of the older CAD files, and it just really worked out well to use some of the older typical sections and just clean them up for the existing. And here's the proposed cross sections, and what you're seeing here is just like I said, that typical 3P resurfacing type section. In some cases we did replace the gutter, or not the gutter, the guardrail, and in some cases there was some existing HMA shoulders that we just overlaid the shoulders. Just depended on the height of the existing guardrail. Some we were able to leave in place, some we had to replace. And there's the most common typical section like I've been talking about here, where we removed that existing gutter and replaced it with widening and the type A gutter with some sub base. Let's see, over here on the right, you can see that our material section had us add some underdrain right behind the type A gutter. So let's keep moving along. Okay, so this is just the alignment sheets, ATB sheets, you may hear it referred as alignment, cross ties, and benchmarks. There's some control information there. Here's the benchmark information. In this particular case, there were some section corners in the pavement itself, so surveys had us add some pay items for replacing those survey markers. And then we start off with just removal sheets. So here, all you're seeing is just the existing. You can see that we're calling out for removing that existing pavement and gutter. Here's a legend down here, so you can kind of see what those removal items were. Operations also had us add some tree removal. And there's that intersection we looked at earlier, where we removed that pavement and we widened it. Again, right here, you're just seeing that nothing really happening here through the resurfacing sections as it pertains to removal. And then you're going to kind of see the same thing over and over again. Just us removing all of that existing gutter and doing some widening. Like I said, it's a lot of the same thing over and over again. So once we get into that video series, we're just going to take one section that contains a resurfacing section and a proposed section. We're going to use ORD, and we're going to model those sections where we're laying that back slope back, and just show you what it takes, basically start to finish, to put together a set of construction plans. Just, so you see the big picture. Oftentimes when you start with the department, you're doing some very specific work on one little section of a job, and you don't see the big picture. So really, the intent of this video series is to allow you to see the entire project, start to finish, how it came together using the CAD software, ORD. There's an intersection detail calling out some elevations and offsets so they can lay out that the widening of that intersection. We also had to have some maintenance of traffic sheets. I'm not sure if we'll get into that or not with this video series, but we did need to show some staging because of removing all of that existing widening. It required a lot of extra sheets there. Okay, so let's just move along. There's our erosion control plan. We've got our side entrances details. These are basically district details, or you'll hear them referred to as CAD standard. This is a super elevation detail. Box culvert extension detail. The geometric section did have us add a little bit of temporary sheet pile. So as you can see, there's a lot of extra work. This really was not just a resurfacing job. This was close to the next level in policy, which they refer to as a 3R project. But actually, it was really just a resurfacing job with just a bunch of these 3R type locations. And then to finish off the plans, you can see that, yes, we did model the project, but we could, even though we're modeling the project, we still can produce cross sections where we can put together a set of PDF plans as well as provide the contractor the 3D model if they're interested. Okay, I said I'm going to keep this around 15 minutes. I'm going to keep my word on that. So let's stop the video here